Welcome. I'm Jenny McFarland, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm coming to you from the lands of the Coast Salish people, including the Squamish, Tulalip, and Muckleshoot nations, whose ancestors have lived here since time immemorial. I'm emeritus faculty and former department chair of biology at Edmonds College, north of Seattle. This video describes a method for analysis of barriers that can help a department fully understand the obstacles to a particular vision item and enable a thoughtful and effective action plan. This slide shows where the Z method is used in the workshop agenda as part of the second barriers model of 3 linked models to produce a department action plan. This video will focus on analysis of barriers using the Z method. From previous modules, recall that understanding a diversity of views is a necessary element of effective change process. Departments should consider that individuals have different personalities and expertise and a variety of problem-solving tendencies and strategies. The Z method uses a variety of approaches to approach a barrier. Sensing, taking time to think about the facts of the situation and seek more data. Intuition, considering the possibilities. Thinking, taking time to analyze facts and possibilities, consider different solutions and consequences to barrier removal. And finally, feeling, considering the possible effects on people of barrier removal. We can think of the Z method as asking 4 questions. Why does a barrier exist? How does this barrier affect us? How can we remove the barrier? And how will barrier owners react to its removal? Different individuals tend to gravitate toward different questions. Some, like me, focus on just removal of the barrier without regard to the other questions. It's important for the success of action plans and addressing barriers to consider all of these questions. There are a number of questions one can ask when addressing the Z method. These are more questions than you'll be able to get to in any particular discussion, but here are some things to consider. When asking how the barrier affects us, we might think about interrelationships, insights, the big picture, what could possibly happen. How will the barrier owners and others react to its removal? This is a critical step, which is often overlooked, but all 4 steps are important. We approach the Z method in small group activities, in-person and in virtual workshops. In each small group, in person, we ask that each individual take a turn facilitating each of the 4 steps of the Z method and document responses for particular barriers. It's important that we individually take some quiet time to write down each idea separately on a sticky note, either virtually or in person. In person, we share these with a group, often by taking turns reading our own ideas from the notes. The group then organizes, lists, combines, prioritizes these lists. It's important to record the responses to each of the 4 steps and then post the pages on the walls within a meeting room, if you're meeting in person, to share with a larger group. This is an example of a Z method from a workshop. So it was done on poster paper. It's done in the form of a Z. Facilitators, in this case, Pulse ambassadors, check in with small groups to answer questions, offer encouragement, and to help ensure that each group will have something ready to share with a larger group. Here's an example of such sharing. It doesn't have to be in an actual Z. It can just be as an outline. It doesn't have to be particularly neat. But to have something to share is important. Virtually, we do this in breakout rooms. We've often done this via Zoom. Again, we ask that the group select a facilitator for each of the 4 steps. Again, individually, quietly brainstorm and write down ideas on virtual sticky notes. In this case, we use Jamboard. You can share your ideas within your breakout room, and again, have the group organize, list, combine, prioritize, and get ready to share out. Here is an example of a template for Jamboard, looking at a particular DEI barrier from a virtual ambassador training program. And this is how that small group organized the report out on Jamboard by listing the stickies and organizing them and paraphrasing some of them within each of the questions within the Z method. Thank you for taking time to listen to this video. I hope Z method is helpful for you all.